Am I the a-hole for no longer doing the dishes after my wife called me her dish B-word? My office is only a couple miles from my house and I usually go home for lunch every day. Since it is so close, I have time to do the dishes, take out the trash, switch the laundry, etc. before I go back to work. I find it's a nice use of my lunch break. It helps to free up some time in the evening, so I can relax more with my family. A couple weeks ago, my wife had a few of her girlfriends over for drinks. I was in the other room watching TV, but I could hear them talking and laughing, and I heard my wife make a comment about how she has me trained so well. I come home on my lunch break to do the dishes, and called me her dish B. It really rubbed me the wrong way. Even if she was just joking with her friends, it felt really demeaning to me. It felt like she was putting me down so that she could feel bigger in front of her friends. So I didn't do the dishes or any other chores when I was at home at lunch the next day. My wife gets home from work before me every day, and instead of coming home to a clean kitchen and empty sink, there are dishes piled up and the trash needs to be taken out, etc. When I got home, my wife was doing the dishes and told me I need to give her a hand because she needs to get dinner started. She asked if I came home for lunch that day, and I said I did. She asked why I didn't do the dishes, and I told her that her dish B was on strike. She stopped what she was doing and looked at me with her mouth open. I told her that, yeah, I heard what she said, and that I don't appreciate her putting me down to her friends just so that she can feel good about herself. She said she was just joking around and she doesn't really think about me that way. I told her she would flip her crap if she heard me talk about her that way to my friends. She said they were just joking around, and it didn't mean she actually thought that. I told her I want to believe her, but I honestly don't think she was just joking. I told her I think I might just start going out to eat at lunch, or take a lunch to the office from now on. She told me I was being petty and overreacting. I told her I don't think I am. She then asked if I was going to help her with the dishes so she can start dinner, and I said, no, I don't think I will. I told her I will play with the kids to keep them distracted since we are having a later dinner that night. After the kids went to bed, she told me I was being an a-hole about one little joke that she didn't even mean, and I was blowing this way out of proportion. I told her she knows how much she'd freak out at me if I said something like that, so I don't think I'm overreacting at all. I told her respect goes both ways and she doesn't get to put me down to her friends to make her feel bigger. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your wife demeaned you to her friends. That's what really bothers me. She made me the butt of a joke to make her friends laugh. And to imply that she has me trained? The whole thing just makes me feel less than and unappreciated, when all I was doing was trying to make our lives a little easier and to give us a little more time with the kids each night. Okay, I'm a wife and my husband does a lot around the house. If I made a joke, which I wouldn't, about him being a little homemaker and he told me it hurt him, you know what I'd do? I'd apologize. Just straight up own it. Tell him I'm sorry I was insensitive and dismissive of him. I'd not only never do it again, but make sure I said, in front of the same friends and him, that I had messed up and was stupid, that I valued him at his contribution to our marriage, and I'd make damn sure I never took his contributions for granted. But what do I know though? I've only been married 31 years. You're not an a-hole, my dear. If the roles were reversed, all of these comments would say, leave the partner, he's disrespecting you when you actually are making his life easier. Red flags all around. Therefore, you are not a home. God, exactly this. You are exactly correct. If the situation was reversed, you'd be turning you behind for demeaning your wife, even if it was just a joke. Respect goes both ways. It's not nice to talk about your partner like that behind their back, and neither it is nice to take your partner's actions for granted. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to get my girlfriend an expensive engagement ring? I've 26 male, been with my girlfriend 26 female for 4 years, and we've recently been talking more and more about marriage. Although my girlfriend grew up relatively well off, for the time I've known her, she's been pretty low maintenance. She's never cared about designer brands, rarely buys new clothes, and the jewelry she owns was gifted to her. I have a decent job now, $80K a year, and I've been saving up for a while, but growing up my family didn't have a lot of money. My girlfriend and I have always seemed to be on the same page when it comes to saving money. I assumed she would be fine with a more affordable ring. So when I started looking into rings, I discovered moissanite rings, which look similar to diamond rings but are much more affordable, and I was looking at rings in the $1,500 to $1,800 range. When I mentioned this to her, she insisted she wanted a real diamond ring, and sent me links to a bunch of diamond rings that she liked. The prices ranged from $6,500 to $10,000. I told her that I wasn't willing to spend that much. She seemed genuinely mad, and said it wasn't that expensive. We got in a pretty big argument over it. I told her that it was ridiculous to ask me to spend that much, and I thought she was more reasonable than that. And she said I was being cheap and that I could afford it, and that I was basically saying she wasn't worth it. I told her no one is worth a $10,000 ring. Eventually, my girlfriend said she didn't care, and that I should get whatever ring I want. But she's clearly still mad, and I know this is going to be an ongoing argument. I'm a bit frustrated because this seems out of left field. I've always known marriage is super important to her, but I didn't realize she'd insist on a diamond ring. So I talked to my older sister about it, who, despite agreeing diamond rings were stupidly priced, sided with my girlfriend. Said if I could afford it, she didn't see the big deal. She added that my girlfriend has done so much for me, and I was being an a-hole about this. What my sister means by my girlfriend doing so much for me is that she was really supportive when I was in a serious car accident 4 years ago. I broke multiple bones and required a few surgeries. Although where I live most healthcare is covered, I wasn't able to work for a while. It had expenses I wasn't able to pay. I had been dating my girlfriend for only 6 months at the time, and she was really there for me. I couldn't pay my rent, so she let me move in with her for free and helped pay for a few expenses and for physical therapy I needed. She also helped me get a job with her uncle, who was the VP of an insurance company. It was an entry-level position, and I had a business degree, so it's not like I wasn't qualified. Obviously, I've thanked her for all she did for me, but it's not something we talk about much. I don't think I'm obligated to buy an expensive ring because she helped me out a few years ago. But if my own sister said this, I'm guessing my girlfriend must feel the way as well. Am I the a-hole here? Gently, you're the a-hole. I completely get not wanting to spend your money like that or put any coin into the pockets of the beer's monopoly. But by saying no one is worth $10,000, you have inadvertently assigned monetary value to the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with. You both should sit down and look at alternatives together. Don't frame it as her not being worth it. Try to educate her on the unethical nature of the diamond trade and see if she wants an alternative stone. Opie doesn't give a crap about blood diamonds. He cares that it costs a lot. Him educating her about it, just him using a different cudgel to get her to agree with him. And I'm not saying is wrong. $10K is a huge amount. But the girlfriend is smart. She's not going to be fooled by sudden serious concern at how unethical diamonds are. You're the a-hole. She's typically low maintenance and agreeable. She supported you and stepped up when you needed her without complaint. She had asked for this one thing you find unreasonable but can afford. It's something she's going to wear every day for the rest of her life. Talk with her about it. Ask her to explain why it's so important to her without interrupting or arguing. That part is important. When it's your turn, tell her why you think it's too much. Focus on how you could use that money together, not just on being wasteful. Why you find it wasteful even though you can't afford it is what matters. No one is worth $10,000 sounds a lot like I don't love you that much in the heat of the moment. Once you have both given real, understandable, calm reasons, try to find a compromise if you still disagree. A diamond is important to her, so can you give her a budget you feel is responsible? Can you nudge that budget into an area that feels slightly uncomfortable to you? Neither of you may love the feeling of compromise, but that's what a healthy marriage takes. She's already shown you the richer/poorer sickness and health part. Now show her you can work with her to find solutions when you disagree. Thanks for the advice. I think I needed to hear this. We really need to talk about it again without getting into an argument over it. Edit. This post got way more attention than I expected. I've definitely reconsidered my stance. I'm going to talk about this more with her. Thanks for all your help. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not stepping up to be part of my kid's younger half-sibling's life? The mother of my 3 kids cheated on me during our marriage, and she ended up pregnant. I started divorce proceedings as soon as I found out, and DNA test confirmed her youngest child was not mine. It also got me out of any responsibility because I knew the name of the real father and provided it to them. In the last 5 years, I have not wanted any part of my ex's other child. She has wanted me to, as the guy she cheated with is a deadbeat, and no guy she has dated since has wanted to take on her youngest as their own. I have focused on being a good dad to my kids, but I can't find it in myself to be anything to this other child. My kids have told me their mom brings it up to them. I've asked them how they feel, and they say since their sibling is not my child, they know I'm not responsible for him, and they think it's not a big deal like their mom thinks. But ever since the youngest started school, it has posed a bigger problem, because the child feels bad that it's not included by me, and it doesn't have a dad. It made my ex's family reach out and attack me, and call me an a-hole for not being willing to prevent this for the child. For my kids too, since they want them to care more than they do. So essentially, they want the kids to want me to include their sibling as part of our family, and not just family with their mom. And I think it got under my skin a little. It made me question if I'm the a-hole for not including this child, because I know I won't love the child. I know I don't want the child, and I know the child would always feel like a burden to me. I have been called an a-hole more the last 2 months than ever before. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. I feel badly for the little kid, but not the a-hole. The child isn't yours, and you can't be expected to love the reminder that your ex-wife cheated on you. You have no financial or emotional responsibilities here. The next time anyone calls you, tell them to mind their business and stay in their lane. Better yet, let them know if they care so much. The role is free. They can step up and be the father figure they so desperately want the kid to have. Not the a-hole in any way. Your ex's child does have a dad, but it isn't you. And raising the child as its father is not your responsibility. On top of it, I wonder if the ex would be able to claim allowance for the illegitimate kid as well, if OP ever gives in and becomes a father figure to him. Anyway, not the a-hole. You don't love the kid, you didn't make the kid, and thus it is not your role to care for the kid. Your ex caused the situation along with her lover. It does suck for the kid, however, I can understand why you feel the way you do. It's not on you to provide for him or take an active role in his life. Your ex has made her choices, and now she has to live with them. And now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for giving my sister-in-law's baby formula? I'm going to start my post by saying that I don't have kids, and I have no experience with babies or motherhood or children. I'm 18 and beyond being around them in group settings, where at least one of the parents and a ton of people are around. That's it. Just for some context to my post. My brother's wife had a baby 17 days ago. I didn't go visit them yet, but my brother and sister-in-law sent me some pictures. My brother said our cousin Rachel was around a lot because my sister-in-law is having trouble breastfeeding, and Rachel's a big believer in it and is helping her. I offered to help them if they needed it. And on Saturday, they asked me to go to the grocery store for them because no home delivery had an open spot. When I dropped the food off, I was shocked at how bad my sister-in-law looked. She literally looked like The Walking Dead. Barely awake and not showered, and she was actually crying because she was so frustrated. It actually scared me how bad she looked. At first, I didn't want to butt in, but it bothered me so much I went back to the store and got a can of baby formula. I figured it would give her a break and my niece could eat. It was even worse when I gave it to my sister-in-law, because I said it was no big deal if my niece got formula. My sister-in-law broke down and I was honestly scared because she was weeping. Like in the movies when someone dies kind of weeping. No one told her it was okay not to breastfeed. She felt so guilty because of Rachel butting in and no one telling her formula was okay. He actually ripped my brother a new one because he sat back while my sister-in-law suffered. There was no way he didn't see how bad she looked. No offense, but she looked terrible. I got my sister-in-law to shower after my niece ate and fell asleep, and I changed the sheets on the bed and told my sister-in-law to sleep while my niece slept, and I said I would get more baby formula. I thought I did the right thing, because my sister-in-law actually stopped crying, showered and slept, and the next 3 days she looked better and didn't cry again, and my niece gets full. My idiot brother smarted up and told Rachel to stay away, and everyone else, especially our parents and sister-in-law's parents, to butt out. Now they take turns feeding, so they both can sleep. My parents and Rachel are furious at me. Sister-in-law's sister was in agreement with Rachel and left me an angry voicemail full of swearing. Rachel basically had sister-in-law holding the baby while topless 24/7, and my dumb brother sat there and didn't help with the baby at all. Rachel breastfed all her kids until they could walk and talk and never had problems, but my sister-in-law obviously did. My dad said I overstepped and should not have butted in. And normally I'm big on minding your own business, but this time I was really scared after seeing sister-in-law on Saturday. Since I'm not a mother or baby expert, I have no idea what it is like with a newborn. Now I'm second-guessing after feeling like I did the right thing, because everyone is angry with me and say I should mind my own business. Not today, home. You probably saved the baby's life. Husband should have taken her to the hospital and they would have probably done the same thing, giving the baby formula. Some people are so smug about thinking they are right, they ignore the facts under their noses. Not only that, you're a smart, kind and loving person. Thank you for saying this. It sounds stupid, but I was second-guessing because everyone got so mad. But honestly, I have never been more afraid when I saw my sister-in-law. You did the right thing. My baby is around the same age, so going through it too. And the first couple of weeks of trying to breastfeed is tough. We had to supplement with formula the first week. But a fed newborn is best for everyone. All that matters is they're not starving and they're growing. If your sister-in-law really does want to breastfeed, look into lactation consultants. The hospital may have resources available for her. I get to see them through my hospital for 6 weeks. They're the ones that advised me to use formula until I produced enough milk, and baby figured it out. They're a much better support system than whatever your sister-in-law is going on now. They helped me gain the skill and confidence and taught me how to grow my supply. Or sticking with formula is great too. Whatever works best for your sister-in-law is best for baby. Not day home. I teach developmental psychology, and one of the biggest conversations I have with my students each semester is that a fed baby with sane parents is the goal. Breastfeeding is often sold as the best/only responsible option, but that just isn't true. While breast milk is associated with better short-term outcomes, by the time kids are in school, there is no significant difference between breastfed and formula kids. You did right by helping your sister-in-law. In that state, she couldn't be the best possible parent for her kid. Sometimes we need to be given permission to do things in a way that works for us, rather than the way society tells us. You gave her that permission. I didn't even realize what a big deal people made over breastfeeding until my sister-in-law broke down and I posted here. Before that, I had no idea.